If you would, we're going to have our chaplain, Bob McGee, lead us in prayer and start the Pledge of Allegiance, then we'll do the rest. So you can sit down, stand up, whatever's comfortable at home, but we're going to stand up here. Here we go.
All right, right here?
Right here.
Right here. All right.
Gentlemen.
Good morning, brothers all. COVID has forced us from our habits and our daily lives. We no longer have all of our lifelong comfort zones, but we have indeed found innovative ways to conduct our business and make up for lost time. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing we here and you at home to gather in your name on this blustery day and open our minds to the ideas of the Murat Leadership Conference. We pray for our potentate, illustrious Sir Tim Whitaker and his lovely wife, Colleen. Please give them the opportunities with the help and strength of his divan, their ladies and his staff, that they are able to complete their and our goals for Murat 2021, moving forward and having fun. Please join me in praying for our veterans, the men and women in our armed forces, protecting our freedom wherever in the world they may be. Lord, protect them from harm. For our police and firefighters, paramedics, nurses, doctors, and all support staff, keep them safe and healthy, that they and their families may live a long, happy, healthy life in your glorious name. Lord God, we thank you for giving us this day, and we can only try to live up to the gift you have given us. All this we pray in your holy name. Amen.
So mote it be.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, the Shrine Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to my flag of the United
And to
States
the country for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. We're going to pick it up real quick. Next up is Joe Collings, our assistant Raban, who has reminded me that last year his meeting started on time. So if you would welcome Joe, and I'm going to make sure he stays on time. Thanks, everybody.
We have a real commodian in front of us today. Talking this morning on, so you're a club officer, now what? And if you're like the rest of us, when you had your November meeting, you were sitting on your hands looking at the floor, and someone may have made a motion and you didn't pay attention to it, but all of a sudden you're now the officer of the club. So with that comes responsibility. And our election to office to honor your club or unit, but it also brings responsibility to the membership to which will require your attention. Leadership is not something which will require everyone else to participate in the decision making, but it will require complete confidence on your part to follow and adapt to the rules of your unit or club. Leadership is not something that comes naturally to most of us. It takes dedication and resilience to be effective. Your role as defined by your office has distinctive requirements, and others in your clubs and units are counting on you to not only perform, but to lead by example in the completion of these responsibilities. Leadership is all about mapping out where you need to go to win as a team. This accomplishment is dynamic, exciting, and inspiring. As a leader, you set the direction. You must manage the skills to guide your membership to the right destination in a smooth and efficient way. There are many types of leadership skills required, but the most important ones include active listening, having a firm understanding through listening to your membership for their wants and desires to help move along your roadmap. Empathy. We must be sympathetic with everyone's wants and desires. We may not always agree on the direction headed, but we must respect the feelings of all. The ability to share a clear message and to make complex ideas easy to understand for everyone. This understanding allows all to envision where they are going and a feeling of accomplishment once arrived. A leader must have strategic thinking skills. Where do we want to go? How are we going to get there? And are we able to enjoy the journey as members of our clubs and units? Creativity is a major facet of leadership. We cannot always do the same old things, receiving the same results we've always enjoyed. Thinking outside the box to achieve more is how strong leaders prove their worth. The ability to inspire and convince others must always be in the foreground of a good leader. Without the group being inspired, there will be very little positive production. Convincing others to join is the key. Flexibility must always be a part of our consideration in membership. Everyone has distinctive assets they bring to the table, and everyone is not a clone. It will not end well. We must adapt to the strong points offered and build upon them. We are all different, and recognizing our passions lie greatly in that difference improves the success of our year. Enough about leadership skills. We all know the job which has to be done. Yes, this is the most important job of leadership, getting the job done. What does it take to accomplish this? You have to have faith in their beliefs. You cannot expect others to consider you a leader unless you have solid faith in your ideals. Once it's there, you build on it by being a good communicator, listening to others, setting examples to others, and putting your best foot forward and not giving up. Leadership is all about being passionate about what you do, having confidence in yourself and your followers with whom you have to motivate and inspire. You have to make the hard choice. Great leaders make the hard choice and self-sacrifice in order to enhance lives around them. Not only does your unit or club membership rely on you, so does the nobility of Murat Shriners. Our clubs and units are the backbone in our membership outline. We all know the active units provide the needed engagements within our temple. Earn the respect of the team. Having the ability to show respect, empathy, and care to those who follow you are all attributed to being a good leader. Earning respect is crucial in a successful relationship with someone, while also showing that you care about their ideals and goals. Being empathetic allows a leader to tap into emotions. This provides your member to know you understand what it means in their position or situation. You have to know the team. Knowing the strengths and weaknesses of everyone is important for success. Leaders have a great vision and use the resource at hand to solve problems. They take risks. They make hard decisions, knowing they could sometimes be wrong. Knowing that people are the key to success, a great leader understands that it is the people they lead that ultimately determine the success or failure of any venture. Guiding the team toward this well-defined vision, clearly communicating goals, and inspiring confidence and trust is truly the role of a great leader. Ultimately, a great leader creates and nurtures other leaders. Articulate a vision. A great leader possesses a clear vision, is courageous, has integrity, honesty, humility, and clear focus. A leader is a strategic planner and believes in teamwork. And great leaders also help others to reach their goals. Push people to be their best. Great leaders have clarity of purpose and are great at articulating their beliefs. Serve a greater cause. This is what we are all about in the world of Shriners. The will to lead others in service of a cause bigger than themselves is the roadmap we all follow. Never for ourselves, rather doing whatever is necessary in service for the greater cause. Focus on helping the team. Someone who leads by positive direction and builds agreement among its members is reaching the goals of the organization. Leadership is not about who is in charge. It is about making sure your organization stays focused on the goals, keeping them motivated, and keeping them being the best they can be to achieve those goals. A great leader does not lead by forcing people to follow. Instead, a great leader motivates people. They encourage others to follow them. They also lead by example, which few leaders do today. Being an effective leader requires constant focus, building a team that is accountable and designed at getting results. Without the team, there can be no leadership. Many of us in leadership know that we need to do better to be leaders, but we sometimes just fail to act. Being a great leader requires constant personal development, regular feedback from the team, self-reflection, and taking action on the feedback we do receive. Great leaders are rarely satisfied with their performance. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me, wandering in the world of what's next. You're all capable leaders, and I trust you aspire to be a great leader. Good luck in your months ahead, and by any means, if we may help you along the way, please let us do so. Thank you. Joel Hall is next, our outstanding moderator for the afternoon.
Thank you, Joe. My role next is to give you a bit of a feel for some Murat history and a little bit of structure. And I'm doing that so that you can carry that forward to your club members. A lot of times we don't have this information shared as well as we'd like. So we're asking you guys to spread the word just a little bit. Andy, how do I share the screen to that one? Let me pop it up. All right. Somebody's having fun rattling some papers.
To allow Zoom to have access to PowerPoint. There you go.
Ah. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Thank you, Andy. So, which should I change it on this one? Your Murat leader, who are we? Maybe. Okay. So this may be news to some of you, but just in case, and thanks to Paul Page for writing a good bit of our history, we were chartered in 1884. That makes us the 17th temple enshrined. A lot of people don't know how old we were. Something to be very proud of. And more importantly, in 2020, and hopefully continuing forward in 2021, we are the #1 club in the entire world with 4,611 members. There's some discussion once in a while about what our name is, how it originated, and how it's pronounced. If you take a look at the French spelling, it's Murat. It's not Murat. It's not Murat. Technically, you can make sure that everybody's saying Murat. We were the first shrine, not of an Arabic name, and we're named after a French general who served Napoleon. Nobody knows why that name came up, but try and get some muting going on here. We do know what the background of our name is.
Everybody, if you can please check to make sure you're muted.
And we got feedback and all sorts of excitement. You want to look over here?
I think we got it. There's somebody muted.
Okay. Thanks for muting. Sounds like we're good. And we're back to screen sharing. Of note is that after we were chartered in 1884, in 1887, we had our first imperial session here in Indianapolis. And that started the tradition of large convention, the Shrine Parade. So if you want a little bit of fun history, you can tell folks that Murat was the temple that started the Shrine Parade. And I'm waiting for my slide to pop back up. All righty. And we're back. Go back one slide. There we go. Wonderful. In 1907, the fifth potentate, you'll hear terminology of Elias Jacobi. He's a ghost that flies around here once in a while. And in 1907, he decided that we needed a home. And that's what led us to, in 1910, building the theater side at a cost of $200,000. So when you think about it, our theater building has some age to it. Of course, we had a couple of events going on, but right after World War I, we had another imperial session, and guess where it was held at? Here in Indianapolis. One more tidbit, 1946 was our first Shrine Circus. We actually held it in our theater. We had elephants on the theater stage. I don't know who was in charge of cleanup, but somebody probably was. In 1949, Murat was the place to meet here in town. We had more events going on than we knew what to do with, and we really had no space for us. So we purchased an adjacent apartment building, which was right next to us, and remodeled it. That was actually our first club building. And then in 1950, the first GLSA, and I'll talk more about that in a second, but that's the Great Lakes Shrine Association, was held at, guess where? Here at Murat. A little bit more tidbit, 1955, the city needed to expand what was going on at the Speedway. And they realized that because of our history, we knew how to put on a parade, us Shriners. So Murat actually helped start the 500 Festival Parade. 1968, we're up to 20,000 members and we're out of room again. So in 1968, we laid the cornerstone on our current club building. So the building that we're currently working on remodeling was that last piece built in 1968. Bit of trivia, our highest membership was 1983 with over 23,000 members. So a little bit of history. Now let me give you a little bit of organizational structure. So from a world standpoint, we have 228 temples, give or take, and we all fill through a headquarters that's located down in Tampa that we refer to as Imperial. And just so you have some terminology, there are actually two parent corporations. Shriners International, which is the fraternal side, is called the Iowa Corporation. And then our hospitals are called the Colorado Corporation, literally being incorporated in those states. So if you hear people talking about the Iowa Corp or the Colorado Corp, that's relating to Shriners International. I always remember it because Shriners International, the I stands for Iowa, and Shriners Hospital for Children, the C for Colorado. We do have imperial officers. They're a little different than the divan here at Murat. They're elected on a July through June schedule, and they are elected at the imperial session, which is held in July. And our illustrious Sir Tim will be speaking about that. The imperial is similar to us. There's 12 imperial officers, but you'll also see information that comes from our executive vice president, chief operating officer. That's John Pyland. And he's kind of the consistency group that he's not in the progressive line, so he stays consistent year after year. Our hospital corporation also has a board of directors, which is mostly the imperial officers, but there is also a chairman, a vice chairman, and roughly 7 more trustees that are not in a progressive line. And you're going to hear about our hospitals from Ed Wolf in a little bit, and he is our chairman of our Lexington Hospital. Our structure, getting down one more level, you know most of us, we're the fraternal leadership. We call it the divan. There are 7 elected officers and 2 appointments. So there's 9 of us total in the divan line, and we elect each other in January. A little bit of a confusion is that Murat's somewhat different. We have a Murat Temple Association, which is another board of directors, and that group is charged with the care of our building. They're not the fraternal side, they're the building side, our brick and mortar stuff. And the Murat Temple Association board is the divan plus 6 elected members. So when you hear about electing some board members, and we'd like for you to think about that at some point in time, those 6 elected members are with the divan, and we look after our building. Obviously, we also have an office. Julie Grammer is our office manager and our Oasis staff. And the big part is that we have 66 clubs, and we refer to clubs kind of as a location-based group in units that are more theme-based. In that, we have 3 units that are for the ladies, and we have, of those 66, 29 clubs that are location-driven. So Johnson County is an example of a club. Clowns are an example of a unit. I'm going to speak real quick about another group event that we have, but regionally we're organized in a group that's called the Great Lakes Shrine Association. So all temples are typically part of a regional group. Ours is the Great Lakes Shrine Association, and that's the 21 temples that are in the Midwest. So temples in Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, and then we have a group out of Ontario. That is another function that allows us to meet in a regional group, and the annual meeting rotates from group to group. So every 21 years, it returns back to whichever club had it. And we go just in rotation on where the meetings are at. This year, it's coming up in Illinois. Great parades, great hospitalities, unit competitions, parading, golf, other activities. You'll see some information coming out from the various groups about GLSA. Julie will put it in our newsletter. And if you're interested in joining us for a kind of regional group, and especially if you parade, I'd strongly encourage you. It's going to be September 15th to the 19th in Itasca, which is just on the north side of Chicago. More importantly, bottom line is you guys are really what we're about. We do have group functions here, but when you look at what goes on, our long-term members always have at least 1 club or unit membership. So if we have members that are not in a unit or a club, we get a little bit worried about them to make sure they're involved. And when you think about it, roughly about 5% of our members utilize our building here in town on a regular basis. That means 95% of our activity is going on in the club and unit area. Our strongest membership growth is showing in our clubs. Those are the location-based groups. And that said, as Joe Collings, our assistant band mentioned, we're here to help you. So don't forget about that. Each of your clubs has a divan rep. So make sure that if you need some assistance, need some advice, just want to bounce stuff around, make sure to get a hold of us, because frankly, we are here to serve you guys. That's it. That's what I've got for the moment. Coming up next is Ed Wolf. He's going to speak to you more about our hospitals. He is our Lexington Hospital Chairman. Welcome, microphone.
Hello. Good morning. My presentation today is to give you a quick overview of what's happening in the Shriners Hospitals world and information on the hospitals that we support here at Murat, those being Chicago, Cincinnati, and Lexington. Our mission at Shriners Hospitals for Children is to advance care for children by meeting the challenges and the expectations of our patients and their families. We are changing to meet these needs in the following ways, and I refer back to the word changing. The hospital system, as we've known in the past, will not be the hospital systems of the future. Things will be changing. Some of the ways we'll be changing is we're going to become more focused on outpatient and ambulatory care. We're going to be creating community partnerships and affiliations with top-tier healthcare providers. We'll be expanding our outreach and telehealth capabilities so children can be seen closer to their homes for medical care. stressing the importance of using all of our resources. For example, people, our donated funds, facilities wisely and efficiently. And lastly, systematically reviewing the operations of each location to better position Shriners Hospitals for Children to reach existing and new patient more effectively and efficiently. And some of the examples that I'd like to share with you above are recently our Houston and Galveston hospitals have merged into one hospital that will be located in Galveston. We're in the process of right now of merging these two and completing Galveston, so be up and running very effectively, hopefully by end of this year, first of next year. Our Twin Cities hospital has become a clinic, and right now they're in discussions currently taking place with the Twin Cities, Chicago, St. Louis to consolidate some leadership roles within a market-based model with the centralization of their roles. What that is, maybe in the future, an administrator be able to oversee and administrate the three facilities. Once again, we're making changes to better needs for our families and our patients. Another facility is Lexington. Lexington has become a very successful medical center. It's located on the University of Kentucky campus. And years ago, when our strategic plan started to go from a full service hospital to a medical center, we raised a lot of eyebrows. There was a lot of questions asked, a lot of uncertainties, but we were able successful to convince home office this was the position and the way we would like to move into the Lexington facility. And to this day, I'm here to tell you that our model has been very successful. And now we have been the pioneer and the leader of the other hospitals to use our model for their future changes. Also in Cincinnati, under the successful leadership of the chairman, Bill Rasner, Cincinnati will be relocating to the Dayton Children's Hospital and be known as Shriners Children's Ohio. They will be known as a hospital within a hospital and begin seeing patients in the Dayton facility on February the 22nd of 2021. In fact, Cincinnati saw their last patient yesterday. The new Dayton facility will continue to offer the same services as in the past, with an opportunity to add new and expanded existing services like craniofacial and plastics. As the chairman of the Lexington Medical Center, this year I'd like to share some of our statistical information on success that we have been able to accomplish. We have 126 employees. Our operating expenses for 2020 was $14.1 million. That's $457,000 under budget. We did 617 ambulatory surgery cases. Our new patient intake remains strong at 4,725 for the year, and that is amongst the leaders in the system to this date. For the year 2021, our home office has approved a budget of $15,112,983. And one of our strategic plans is to expand our services to the community through the ENT surgeons and other pediatric subspecialties. In closing, I just wanted to share with you some very good news that our endowment did very well last year, and it increased from $7.7 billion to $8.4 billion for the year 2020. Thank you.
All right, nobles. I'm Bill Rasner, past potentate, recorder here at Murat, and glad to have everybody with us today. First thing I want to touch on are legal issues with regards to fraternal fundraising. So, no noble in his capacity as a Shriner, club, unit, organization, or noble, or affiliated shall engage in any fundraising activity without the express written consent of the potentate of Murat Shrine Center. There can be no representation, expressed or implied, that the proceeds will be for the benefit of Shriners Hospitals for Children. Okay. When the potentate gives his written consent,
for a fraternal fundraising activity, a copy of the same shall be mailed to the Executive Vice President of Shriners International. Further, any printed materials pertaining to the fundraising activity shall be sent to the Executive Vice President of Shriners International if so requested. All promotional materials, tickets, programs, and documents must contain a statement of purpose and disclosure. Proceeds are for the benefit of Murat Shriners. Payments are not deductible as charitable contributions. Information about Shriners Hospitals for Children may be used in programs for fraternal fundraisers, provided that each contains the appropriate statement of purpose and disclosure. This information must appear in a conspicuous location using lettering bold enough to easily read. Programs and other booklet type materials must include the statement of purpose and disclosure on the front cover of the first page. The statement of purpose and disclosure should also be included as a part of each fundraising activity advertised in the Murat Shrine Center publications. Murat Shrine Center shall maintain detailed financial records of all fundraising activities involving nobles, clubs, units, organizations of nobles, and affiliates or appendant corporations for a period of 7 years. Details of all revenue and expenditures shall be maintained in such financial records. Now, I read you the dull, boring version of what's required for us to communicate. And I think it's important that there's a true understanding. You know, Murat has a number of fundraisers each year, and from Texas Hold'em, that is typically held on Thursdays and Saturdays. We generally have an annual reverse raffle, which that date has to be yet be determined for 2021. Our largest event annually, the Sportsman's Raffle, largest fundraiser for our temple. It's currently scheduled for June 5th right here at Murat, and we look forward to everyone's participation in that, as well as ongoing events that we have in the Oasis Lounge when we have the facility open. And when we reopen the facility, these will be reenacted. Things like the treasure hunt and pull tabs that are good income generating items for our temple. You know, one thing that I want to mention about those are temple fundraisers, and it takes everyone's involvement, everyone's dedication to make these successful events. Whether that be in attendance or by selling tickets, we need the support not only of all of our local clubs and units, but those friends and family and co-workers that have a tendency to help support our cause. You know, a few things that are changing with fundraising in the future are some of the procedures. Currently, we have a few clubs and units that have individual gaming related fundraisers such as the Fireman's Club and the Colts Book, or a new fundraiser that our Corvette Club will begin doing shortly on the calendar raffle that they've created. So in the past, we've kind of left fundraising a little bit loose from a club and unit standpoint within Murat. And let me clarify Murat for licensing purposes. Murat is Marion County, and any of our functions in Marion County can fall under our Murat gaming license. And of course, that would require potentate's approval. Any of the outlying shrine clubs or units that are outside of Marion County would need to apply to the Indiana Gaming Commission for approval to host and have their own dedicated license for a gaming event. Very important that we follow proper procedures. and so I'll circle back and talk about procedures. In say the past, and I just completed having a very lengthy dissertation with the Corvette Club and helping them schedule and set up their new fundraiser of the calendar raffle. In the past, we've not ran all of our transactions through our certified gaming account for some smaller events and so forth. It's now necessary that we follow true protocols here and follow Indiana gaming laws to its fullest extent. So moving forward, it will be essential for our clubs and units not only to get approval from the potentate, but to work with our fraternal office to ensure that the proper deposits and payouts of prizes are handled through our certified gaming account here at Murat. And I won't go into any more detail with that, but I look forward to talking with our other clubs and units. I believe the 500 Club has had a raffle for tickets in the past, as well as the Firemen's Club on the Colts books. And I look forward to further explaining some of the changes that we'll have to follow moving forward and as we develop your next fundraiser. But keep in mind, as I said, every fundraiser requires potentate's approval. So go to muratshriners.com, click on the tab for members, and scroll down to add an event and complete the request form and submit that. Just click send and it will be submitted back to the potentate. And if you have any questions at all leading up to scheduling your event or any planning that might occur, please don't hesitate to reach out to me individually here at the fraternal office or by email, cell phone, text. I want to make sure that I am available to answer any questions that you might have with regards to fundraising and the legalities related to that, so that we can stay in good standing with the Indiana Gaming Commissions, as well as Shriners International and Shriners Hospitals for Children. So that completes my report. I will then hand it over to Bill Stanton for his presentation.
Pardon?
During your PowerPoint.
All right, well, in the meantime, good morning, Nobles, sports fans, Mahomes haters or lovers, Brady haters or lovers. Anyways, a good morning to all of you. Now the subject matter that I was given was talk about meetings that suck, or how to make your meetings not suck. I thought about it, and it's really pretty simple. And I guess I'm addressing this now to just the leaders. If when you announce that you're going to have a meeting, all you hear are groans and moans, your meetings probably suck. If when you start your meeting, the only thing the participants are anxious for is the motion to adjourn, your meetings probably suck. So anyways, I did a fair amount of research on the subject matter, and interestingly enough, everything I read except for one or two freak show websites pretty much had the same handful of suggestions for having an effective meeting. And I start by saying you don't want to confuse your meeting. My photograph, my first slide, that was a gathering, not a meeting. Don't confuse your meetings with a more complex, longer term planning session. Don't confuse it with a general just getting together and having conversations. Don't confuse a meeting with a social gathering. When you're having your business meeting, you're having a business meeting. And the first thing you have to understand is you've got to meet with some purpose and have a clear goal. And if you can't think of a purpose or a clear goal for your meeting, my recommendation is cancel it. Don't waste everybody's time or your energies if you don't have a clear purpose and goal for your meeting. But meet with a clear purpose and a goal. Communicate that purpose and goal to all the participants. Create an agenda. Go to my second slide there, please. So you can start writing this stuff down. Create an agenda and share it in advance so participants can prepare. Nothing worse than bringing up a topic that's I'll say a serious topic that nobody's prepared to talk about, and everything is off the cuff, off the top of their heads. Make an agenda, share it in advance if you have serious topics, so that everybody can give some thought to it and be prepared to participate. Which is my next serious point here is you as a leader, you need to encourage and manage active participation. And that means engaging everybody in your group that's at that meeting. Don't allow one talkative person to dominate all the conversation. You really want everyone to be engaged and actively participating. Schedule, when you're writing your agenda, schedule a logical, appropriate amount of time for each topic, which ultimately determines the length of the meeting. The general rule of thumb is don't go over 45 minutes to an hour on a meeting. Now, sometimes you may have a subject that is going to take a little longer, and you'll determine that when you're writing your agenda. It'll also determine what the size of your agenda is. If you have too many weighty topics, better cut some of them out. And then the most important thing when you get your meeting going is stay on schedule. Again, going to my right side of my slide here, socialization and small talk needs to happen before your meeting or after your meeting. Now, if you're doing a Zoom meeting, there's a minor, I'd give you a minor exception to that. Spend the first 5 minutes or so just asking everybody how they're doing. What did you do today? Just lighten the atmosphere. A meeting doesn't have to be stuffy. And as I've said here, if you have a stuffy environment, the participants will be stifled, and you don't want that. You want them to be relaxed. Don't have too many topics. Have enough that you can have a meaty meeting and feel that you've accomplished something. You want to keep your participants relaxed. It doesn't have to be, again, overly formal, but they've got to stay focused on the business of the topics. You got to stay on the agenda. And this is my next one is my most favorite irritation of all times, is that while you want to encourage active engagement, while you want to encourage participation, you discourage sidebars, kibitzing, guys who think that they're at the improv and that you're waiting for their comedic relief. Any off-topic distractions. Nothing irritates me more in a meeting is when I'm talking, somebody's talking and I realize there's a couple other people in the meeting talking to each other. You just got to stay on the topic, and everybody, you're only talking 45 minutes to an hour. Stay focused. And then last but not least, in our age of devices, you have your participants turn off or mute their devices. Multitasking participants aren't fully engaged. They're busy playing poker on their device, or they're answering emails. They're not listening. They're only half listening, if at all. And the last thing, which I didn't put on this slide, is at the end of your meeting, summarize the important actions and decisions that you and your group made during the meeting. It's probably more important of a job for your secretary than taking the minutes. You can always record your meeting, and the secretary can write the minutes from that. But at the end of the meeting, what did we decide? I mean, we voted to do X, Y, and Z, and you just have a summary of your meeting, and that's it for me for today. It's very simple. Meet with purpose, communicate the purpose and the goal to all your participants, create an agenda, encourage and manage. You got to manage your meeting, manage the active participation, schedule an appropriate amount of time for each topic and the meeting length, and stay on schedule. Now, we're probably going to skip over the urinary break. So hopefully all you old fellas like me wore your Depends. And we're going to move right on to a subject that I've been telling all my clubs and unit leaders is one of the most important reasons to tune in today. Our very own brother and noble Carl Boyer is going to give us a rundown of insurance, a topic that's more often than not misunderstood, misinterpreted. So take it away, Carl.
Carl, are you on here with us?
Am I back?
There we go.
Oh, I got kind of away there for a second.
That's all right. You're back with us now.
All right. Well, Moose, no pressure there to come, through with a blockbuster report here. So I'll try my best. Again, Nobles, my name is Carl Boyer, and I handle the property and casualty insurance for the Mirage Shrine. And today I'd like to discuss the general liability coverage for the Mirage Shrine and how that coverage pertains to the different units, clubs, and nobles. I've been the insurance agent for the Mirage Shrine for many years. It's always been the position of the Mirage Shrine that their general liability and umbrella coverage provide excess coverage over any other insurance coverage the clubs or units already have in place. So let's take, for example, the Southeastern Indiana Shrine Club. They have a building where they meet. They have property, general liability policy. On their general liability policy, they should be naming the shrine as an additional insured in the event of any liability claim that happens there. This way it gives the Murat Shrine some protection for a claim. In regards to the clubs, most of the clubs I'm aware of are covered under the Mirage Shrine's general liability and umbrella policy. The list of clubs are reviewed each year by the recorder to make sure that list is up to date. Note that the coverage to the units, clubs, or nobles extends only to their liability. Any damage to a club, unit, or individual noble's property is not covered. Property owned by the unit should be covered by the unit. Property owned by the club should be insured by the club, and property owned by the noble should be covered by the noble. Currently, the Mirage Shrine's Insurance Committee is drafting a proposal to help each unit, club, and noble to guide them in obtaining the correct coverage for their property. Sanctioned parades by the potentate are covered under the Mirage Shrine's policy. Under the Mirage Shrine's policy, only nobles are covered for their liability. Non-members are not covered for their liability actions in any parade or other shrine activity. Damage to motorized units appearing in a parade are not covered under the Mirage Shrine's policy. Also, bodily injury to a noble for his participation in a parade is not covered under the Mirage Shrine's policy. The liability under the Mirage Shrine's policy extends only to injured spectators and any property damage caused by a noble. In a general overview of the Mirage Shrine's property and casualty insurance policy, we recently moved coverage from a long-term insurance carrier over premium increases. The premium increase came from various claims over the last few years, along with uneasiness with the insurance carrier over several activities by the Mirage Shrine. A few of those activities included gun raffles, parades, patient transportation, and the Live Nation exposure. What were non-concerning activities a few years back have become troublesome today. Unfortunately, we live in a very litigious society, and the Mirage Shrine's policy has taken several hits the last few years. Fortunately, we were able to find another insurance carrier to step in. Going forward, though, we cannot predict if claims will continue or if the new insurance carrier will grow weary of the same activities that caused the Mirage Shrine to part ways with its former carrier. I can tell you I've got 40 years of experience in the insurance business, and the list of insurance carriers that will insure the Mirage Shrine at a competitive premium is almost nil. Therefore, it is up to all of us to help protect the Mirage Shrine now and in the future. As stated earlier, the insurance committee will be looking at ways to help accomplish this goal. If you have any specific questions regarding your unit, club, or individual coverage, contact me, Carl Boyer. My phone number is 317-275-1608. Again, 317-275-1608.
Well, good morning, Nobles. It's nice to see everybody here at the, I guess it's the 29th annual Murat Leadership Seminar. I've been to about 22 of these, and it's always been a good and valuable experience. For those who may not know me, my name is Tim Murphy. I'm past potentate here of Murat. I was potentate in 2015. And it was an incredible year, lots of fun, and a very enjoyable part of my life. So I'm here today just to kind of have a little chat with you and talk about why do we do this? Why am I a Shriner? Interesting question. Well, there's a lot of reasons why I'm a Shriner. For example, it's a place where I could use my leadership abilities to help advance the mission of the organization. It was a place where I could lend my unique talents to whatever needed to happen. It was a place where I could learn from my fellow nobles. It was a place to carry on a common purpose and a set of goals with like-minded people. It was a place to hang out with my friends and enjoy the camaraderie that really is Murat. And the most important reason is because it's fun. When I look at, when I examine who has typically come to this event and who is probably logged in today to this event, it's kind of fun to think about how long I've known some of these people. And I kind of made this little list of people that I've known, and it amazed me at how long I've known them. For example, I've known Joe Collings for 20 years. Folks, that's a lot of beer. I've known Tim Whitaker, illustrious sir, for 22 years. Ronnie Elliott, 23 years. Scott Roberts, 8 years. Bill Stanton, 22 years. Bill Rasner, 21 years. It's a long time, Billy. Joel Hall, 16 years. Paul St. Pierre, 23. Willie McKinney, 16. Scott Schuster, 23. And the list goes on and on and on. And when I look at those numbers, it occurred to me that represents just about half of my life. And so to think that I've had these wonderful fraternal relationships that I've gotten to enjoy for nearly half my life is a reason to really celebrate the Shrine and celebrate Murat and remember why it is that we do this. I've also had some other duties to perform that are final duties. For example, I've presided over the funerals of 53 Shriners and the funerals of 33 Shrine spouses, and I still miss every one of them. So I guess what I'm saying is that we have a strong emotional attachment to the Shrine, to its values, and most of all to our fellow members. That's really where we get our energy, is this emotional attachment that we have to our nobles. What originally attracted me to the Shrine, and the reason it's important to think about what originally attracted you is because when you know that and you remember that, you can build that component into your programming so that you are attractive to other people. So first of all, you got to be fun. And I was attracted to the Shrine because it was fun and it represented a place to come and have fun. They had very interesting and varied activities. You could dress up, you could dress down, it didn't matter. There was something for everybody, and that really appealed to me. It wasn't boring. Somebody who has suffered from ADHD for my entire life, I can tell you that I'm bored easily within a minute and 30 seconds, and the shrine never bored me. So that was another big plus in its column. I like silly ties and lots of lapel pins. I like weird uniforms and funny shirts. I like a bar where I can hang out when we can again. Oh, dear God, please. A bar where I can hang out with people who share my same Masonic values. I mean, the bar crowd and the function crowd is completely pre-screened. That's a pretty nice place to be. It had units and clubs that fit my interests. It had clubs that made its meetings convenient. It had units that made its meetings convenient. And it was a lot of different kinds of fraternity experiences. And so stated meetings, I hate meetings, but stated meetings were always fun because you never knew what was going to happen. Something crazy was always going to occur, whether it was before, during, or after the meeting. There was going to be some fun to be had. And so that made meetings, even for someone who doesn't like meetings, it made them tolerable. And it was a great social occasion to come to the stated meetings at Murat. So one of the things that I haven't said about why I'm a Shriner is the hospitals. Do I love the hospitals? Absolutely. Is that something that we've supported for the last 24 years of my life? Yes, it is. But I really didn't even consider or know much about the hospitals when I decided to join Murat. It was all the other stuff that made me join. I didn't discover the hospitals until a year in, when I went to my first hospital about a year after I joined or so. And that's where I really got that hospital connection at that point. But and I bring that up only because you got to sell yourself first and let people know that we really do have a great hospital system. That's something that they can really wrap their arms around, but they're going to join you, not a hospital. And so please keep that in mind when it comes time to recruit new members. So I've told you why I'm a Shriner. And now it's time for you to think about, and you to tell others why you're a Shriner. There's a concept in the life of the fraternity. It's called the elevator speech. And the elevator speech is you get on an elevator in a hotel and you get on at the 21st floor and it's on its way down. So you have 21 floors to explain to the guy next to you why you're a Shriner. You got to be able to do it quickly and make your points very, very quickly and very emotional and do it very, very well. But you've only got 21 floors to do it. And that's kind of hard to do. So you might want to practice that and create your own elevator speech for the next time somebody says, hey, why are you a Shriner? I appreciate your time today. Appreciate your leadership. Appreciate you making Murat as great as it is. And it's going to even be better as every day goes on. Let's all pray for getting back together socially as quickly as we possibly can. And so with that, I'd like to call upon a very dear friend of mine that I've known a long, long time, and that's Scott Schuster, past potentate. Scott, take it.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate hearing that message. It's always good to give some thought to why we belong. So Scott Perez is, if most of you, I think, know at this point, Scott Perez is our contracted guy that's helping us manage this building construction project. I think he's going to lead off and he's just going to give you an update on the building, show some pictures, kind of give you an idea where we're at this point. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the budget and our fundraising efforts. So Scott, if you're there, you are. We tried to get Scott to wear a GoPro and walk the building through this session, but we're going to do the pictures.
I'll do that next time, Scott. Morning, Nobles. I think, Joel, are you going to be showing the slides? I think. I'm not sure.
Give me one moment to pull those up.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, as I'm sure everyone is aware, we're moving forward on the project.
2021 building renovation pictures?
We are currently scheduled as of right now, based on some delivery times, that we should be hopefully open, or as far as the project being completed, by mid-April. And there were several little items that kind of caused some delay, one of which being the Indiana Historical Preservation Commission. We've satisfied them with finally with the outside patio. They accepted our brick just the other day, so we could order the rest of the brick. We still have to make a slight mod to the mortar joint color, but other than that, I heard a few people on Facebook. I had posted a picture of a temporary wall that was installed, and that was simply a little bit of a joke there, as we are getting the exterior windows put in, but we had to build a temporary wall in order to do that. That's the temporary wall right there to the right, which is so when they start demoing that exterior, we protect the rest of the interior from dust and debris and a little bit of cold that seems to be happening right now.
Scott, just tell us what you want to look at.
Gee. Well, why don't you pick on one of the, yeah. So right there, there's a picture of the patio, and the patio, as you can see, is ready for the new slab, which we'll need to pour when it gets a little warmer, but that is going to be all heated so that we don't have to shovel ice and snow off that. It'll be controlled by a thermostat. When it gets down to a certain temp, the glycol system will kick in and completely warm that, so we're not worrying about throwing down salt or anything like that.
Scott, you might touch on the, what you've been working with on the Historical Society on that outdoor picture.
I don't know if we have one. Yeah, that's kind of an older one, but working with them on those windows that are outside there, we'll have 6 doors that lead out to the patio. The face of the patio, the vertical walls of the patio, they were required to have brick installed on them, which kind of caught us by surprise a little bit because we were kind of making it a limestone textured area, but they did not approve that. So we actually found pretty much the only brick we could utilize to somewhat match the 1968 brick, which is no longer made. So we did get approval on that. Also, in addition, the vertical fins there, those concrete white fins that are in between each of the windows, IHPC felt that those were of historical significance, believe it or not, and what gave some architecture. So we have now provided what Chuck Scholl and I refer to as Stonehenge. We'll have 4 white columns that'll be out front and kind of give a nod to those vertical fins. Those are just been approved and they're under just starting fabrication, and they'll be set towards the second week of April. And hopefully that'll be the finishing touch for us. If you want to go inside, as you can see right there, we're going to have 2 fireplaces, one on the Oasis side and one that is going to be in what's called the private dining room. The private dining room takes the place of the 2 former spaces that walled off. Okay. Oof. Why don't you pick that one right there? Okay, right there, that is the new bar. So you can see the kitchen back there off to the center left, and the back wall of the Oasis right there on the left. That's the west wall of where one of the dining areas used to be. but there's the new bar. It's a U-shaped bar. Can seat quite a few people. And if you can see those black elements hanging down from the middle of the bar, and those also occur throughout the room, those are where new TVs will be located.
You might just give them, you know, so that back wall is where we had the petitions in the back. So that goes all the way to the back of the room now. The petition area is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we moved the bar, you know, more towards, I guess, the center back of the room, or.
Yeah, more towards the west than it was before, but it seats probably twice as many people at the bar. We just have gotten a layout for bar equipment, which is going out, and we'll have multiple taps. The beer will always be flowing cold because it's going to be stored in the walk-in. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and give it back to you.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Any questions on the construction piece of that? Joel, if you can bring up the slides. My slides. I guess the one good thing about this pandemic is it's allowed us to get this done. So it hasn't been great not seeing everybody, but it has been, you know, an opportunity to at least nail this down. And probably typical of any project, this is, you know, slid out a little further than initially planned. So fortunately we have the time.
Hey, Scott, I don't mean to interrupt, but have we resolved the plumbing issue that always flooded the basement from the kitchen drains and all this construction?
Chuck, are you on the, Chuck's probably a better guy to answer that. I know we've run some new pipe. We have run some new piping down there. I'm not the guy that's probably best.
I know for a fact that prior to us starting construction, all the drain lines down in the basement were replaced with new PVC and removed all the old black iron pipe. So that all should be rectified to my knowledge based on what Brian Davis has told me about.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of funny because the Chanters got it worse than the band. It's not funny because that was some nasty water, but I appreciate that.
There's a question in the chat. What's our current delivery date looking like?
I think Scott said mid-April.
Currently, we're on mid-April, and that's dependent on us getting the demolition finished. We can't finish the demo until we get the concrete pad poured and it cured, so that we have something to land those significantly sized pieces of precast on. So as soon as we make that happen, we can get going.
So, you know, the next slide I put up is just kind of a summary. Do we have any reliance on the April date? You know, Scott, I assume we feel pretty good about the April date. I think that's the question.
Right now, I mean, that's what we're scheduled for. Again, it's all, right now we're kind of being hostage by the weather.
So the building project, you know, I've listed out kind of everything that we've done. The kitchen renovation and new equipment, 200,000. Most of that's completed. You know, a lot of that was driven by, we were starting to get flack from the fire department and coding of our anvil system, which is our, takes away the, I guess, the cooking smoke and that downstairs. So, you know, that part of it has been taken care of. So the renovation, there may still be a little bit of new equipment. For the most part, though, the kitchen's done. First floor restroom updates are completed. I think everybody would agree that was needed. Much better if you haven't been in the building. That made a tremendous difference. The smell, it seems to, you know, I think we addressed everything. So functions a lot better, looks a lot better. Construction budget, $1.6 million. That's the Oasis, Tunisian patio, ADA accessible ramp. Then we've got new furnishings, audio visual. Chris Shaler, one of our members, is helping us with that. I mean, we'll have a lot of audio visual, some 80-inch televisions in both the Tunisian and the Oasis. So should be, you know, it should be great as far as getting together, watching games, you know, hopefully it does become a focal point where we see more activity. Bar equipment, fire alarm system. So total improvements, 2.2 million. So far to date, we've raised just over $1 million. So really proud of that effort. You know, I'm not sure when we started the fundraising what we would have thought, but we're over $1 million. We're probably at $1 million, let's say $1.020 million, you know, just over. Kind of go back to that last page, please. We've had 50 individuals give 10,000 on the $1 million campaign. So 500,000 we've raised through individuals. The clubs, we've had 10 clubs contribute at 100,000. This, you know, hopefully more clubs are continuing to think about this. We'd like to see more participation here. So, you know, we'll continue to work on that. Units, 223,000. You can see the Indianapolis Horse Patrol gave us 110,000, which was significant. VCM unit kind of gave us, the VCM's the group that operated at the state fair. They just decided it wasn't, I think, you know, just wasn't worth the effort anymore. So 63,000, they turned their account over to us. So we picked that up. So, you know, 173 of the 223s from those two units. Again, there's a lot of units out there. I know this is a tough time to be asking to raise money, but, you know, we'd like the units to consider this as you go forward. Other contributors, 155,000. Indiana Widows Sons, the Exchange Club, which is a group that Tim Whitaker is a member of. The Jacoby Foundations pledged 100,000. Jayworth Baker, 25,000, and Noble Lodge has given 10. Joel, if you could, there you go. So what are club and unit options? We've been focused on this $10,000, $2,000 a year for 5 years, or pay $10,000 at once. You know, and you saw the success. We've had several step up and do that. That's still available. A new option, you know, some of the clubs and units we recognize are smaller. It's, you know, 10's a big ask. So we've also kind of put a 5,000 out, which you could do 1,000 over 5 years. So we're kind of hoping, you know, we might pick up more that way. Everybody that participates on this will be put on a plaque. We'll put it somewhere in the Oasis. It'll be recognized. So, you know, we would like to see all clubs and units participate to some extent. We're also working, you know, at this point, we've raised $1 million. You know, we've got, if you think about it, we have 4,500 members. We've probably had 300 donors. So we've raised $1 million with 300 donors. We're going to do a mailing to the members. I don't think the insert in the magazine's been successful. So we're just going to do a direct mail, and we'll see what we get there. You know, we'd like to get more broad support. I mean, you can imagine if we could get 1,000 or 2,000 members contributing a small amount, that would make a big difference too. So we're going to continue to grow the $1 million. The goal's 2.2 million. I know our potentate's trying to close that gap, so that's what we're working on. Questions? Okay. Scott, thanks for your time. That's what we had for the building.
All right, I think we're going to Jason Crace now. Jason, are you available?
I absolutely am. Get my video going. Good morning, Nobles. How are you? Good to see everybody on Zoom this morning. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jason Crace. I am the treasurer of the Murat Temple, and here to talk to you a couple of positions today. What both the secretary and the treasurer should be doing for your club and unit. I'll touch first on the secretary. I think the secretary is one of the most overlooked but very important positions in your club and unit. In any fraternal organization, the secretary is crucial at recording the decisions that are made by the leadership. So it's very important to take accurate meetings. And I know when you go into a meeting, everybody wants to dispense with the reading of the minutes, but I think it's very important to at least hand those out to make sure everybody looks at those minutes, to make sure that all of the various decisions that were made in the last meeting are documented properly, because those are the ones that you're going to have to look back if there's ever a disagreement on a decision that was made. So it's very important that your secretary keep very good minutes and keep those records and keep the club and unit updated on what the going-ons are. Now, the treasurer, the secretary and treasurer act as a check and balance to each other. The treasurer is the one who obviously controls the finances, but it's very, very important that the books are kept regularly. I know there's a lot of clubs and units that you may operate throughout the year and then maybe only do a financial report at the end of the year. Just like we try to report accurate financial information every single month as a part of the divan and the presentation to the nobility at the stated meetings, it's very important that the treasurer do the same thing for your clubs and units. This gives your leadership and membership an idea of where you stand financially. It's also good to spur ideas on how to raise more funds, how to get into some fundraising with the guidance from the temple. It's very important to make sure that all those nickels and dimes are accounted for and presented to your members on a regular and consistent basis. And here's the thing: you don't have to have a degree in accounting to be a good treasurer for your club or unit. There are a lot of resources out there on Shriners Village. There are a lot of resources at the temple. Everybody, you have my email. Any treasurers that have any questions on how to account for transactions for their club and unit reports, feel free to reach out to me. I'll post my email, but it is murattreasurer@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me, especially this time of year, because I am a CPA doing some taxes today. And the most important report as a treasurer of a club or unit can prepare is the annual report that gets reported to the temple. I know one of the things I did last year when I came on last year, was my first year as Murat Temple, was I stressed the importance of making sure that the annual report was sent to Julie in the office on a timely basis. The tax return for the temple, and yes, we do have to file a tax return, even though the temple is an exempt organization. We're exempt from income taxes. There is a return that has to be filed. It's called a Form 990. And it's very important because one of those 990s compiles all the financial activity of the clubs and units. So it's crucial that we get your annual reports and get those submitted to Julie in the office on a timely basis. The filing deadline for that form is May 15th. And it takes the temple's outside accountants a lot of time to pull all of that information together. There is a standard form that is available for clubs and units, in addition to a ton of other resources out on Shriners Village. So what you need to do is, if you do not have an account on Shriners Village, you should get one. You just go to shrinersvillage.com. I'm going to pull mine down to walk through it. Once you get to Shriners Village, at the very top is a tab called Resources. Under Resources, you will have a sub-selection called Temple Resources. Once you go into that Temple Resources, there's a whole section on accounting. You go into Accounting, look for Section 2, and you'll see a link for Clubs and Units, Forms, and Instructions. And when you get into that section, you're going to be looking for Section 2, Clubs and Units. There is year-end reporting information, which is going to bring up a PDF file that gives you a lot of information on how to report your year-end numbers. And then right below that is one that says Clubs and Units, Form and Instructions. Go into that, look into section 2. So yeah, right there, go click on that second one that says clubs and units, form and instructions under section 2. And that will pull up section 2. And then right there, line or where it says pages 41D, 2020 report of shrine clubs and temple units. It says it's a form, but what it is it's an Excel spreadsheet. The formulas are already in there for you. So what you might want to do, and this is what I have encouraged people and other treasurers and club and units to do, is to print out a copy, pencil in your numbers, make sure you get all your numbers flowing correctly, and then go in and use the Excel spreadsheet to fill it in. And once you fill in the report, it is necessary to sign it to attest to the accuracy of it. And don't worry, we're not going to throw you in jail if your addition is wrong. That's not an issue. But you do have to put some general information at the top, number of members, some other things, because that is important information that actually goes into the Form 990 that the temple accountants have to prepare. But then you put in your revenues, your expenses, and your assets. And I do want to dispel a myth that has been circulated and has come to my attention. Don't be afraid to put accurate asset and revenue information on this report. The temple is not interested in coming after any club or unit assets or revenues. Those are your assets for the clubs and units. And the temple has no interest in trying to dig and find out where all the money is lying around. That's not what we're about. This is about accurate financial information for a form that has to be prepared and has to be submitted to the Internal Revenue Service by the temple. Not filing accurate forms could jeopardize the exempt status of the temple down the road. So please, if you have any questions on how to prepare this, need assistance in doing that, reach out to me. I'm happy to set up a Zoom call with you. We can go through your bank statements. I can help you. I mean, I'm an accountant. I will absolutely help any club or temple or, any club, temple, temple, club or unit that needs assistance in filling out this report. Reach out to me. I'm absolutely happy to help. I'd rather spend some time for the nobility to make sure the information is accurate versus struggling through this report and it possibly being late. This year, we would like to have all of the financial reports from units and clubs by March 1st. I do understand that that's only 2 or 3 weeks down the road, but we would like to have them by March 1st. Some of you guys know you've already sent them in. I got to tell you, you guys got some kudos and thumbs up from me on those. But let's shoot for March 1st. Email all those in to Julie in the office, and she will get them to me and the outside accountants, and we'll compile that information for the filings. Thanks. That's my time today. If you have any questions about financial or accounting resources for your club or unit, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and email me, murattreasurer@gmail.com. Thank you.
Hey, Jason, before you go, can you send out the path to that report? I know you just wrote it and I didn't get all of it. I always call Julie to get a copy, but we can eliminate that effort if you can just send out the path to us.
I can do that. I'll send it to Julie and I'll have Julie send it out to all the clubs and units.
Thank you.
Good morning, Nobles. I see I have the group of clowns behind me, or it's the divan. Guys, my little seance this morning is events you should attend. And I'll just say this, you should attend any event that you can. Get your pencils and papers ready. We've got a lot of events this year. I'm going to just share some of those with you. Number one, attend your monthly meetings, whether you're in a club or unit, or whether you're coming to a stated meeting, even if it's virtual, show up. That's how you learn. That's how you get involved. We want to keep you engaged in the process. In March 27th, still on the agenda, we're going to have an Easter egg hunt, and we're hoping it's at the Masonic Home. Of course, the COVID thing, we're working with that. We're working with the Masonic Home, but March 27th, children of all ages, we will have an Easter egg hunt. Ceremonials this year, April 3rd, November the 6th. If you can't get a candidate for those 2 days, because remember, our goal is 500 this year, call myself, call any of your Devan reps, and we'll come and make a Shriner today. And you can get me today. April 28th, Potentate's Golf Outing. Uland Country Club is a private club up in Lebanon. They're going to allow us to come in, and all the money raised in my golf outings this year, which I have 3, is going to go towards the building campaign. We want to get the building campaign solidified this year and paid off this year. That's a goal. May, the month of May, we're going to have the Imperial Sir from Tampa in town, James R. Smith and his lady Alice. We want to have you come down, meet them, greet them, and have a great time. Go to the 500, the parade. So again, I'm going to read a whole list of things. So be writing these things down. They will appear in the magazine shortly. June, the Sportsman's Raffle. We're going to have one June the 5th. It'll be right here at Murat. And we're going to change it up a little bit this year. Because of the shortage and the difficulty in getting guns, we're going to do 100 gift cards this year of various amounts, but we will be spending over $30,000 on the gun raffle this year. July 4th through the 8th, Imperial Station, Houston, Texas. Great time. Try to follow the magazine, follow the email blast. We're going to be going to Houston. Also, golf outing number 2 of the Potentate. This is going to be at Winding Ridge on the east side of Indianapolis. August, enjoy a busy month. Anderson Speedway, racing and a parade. Murat Cast Golf Outing. Southeastern Steak Fry. Logansport Frolic and Parade. Devan Days at the new Shriners Hospital in Dayton, Ohio. Lake Monroe Boat Party. Family picnic. And if that doesn't give you something to do, how about a motorcycle ride in a fundraiser, Jerry Markovich ride? September, Great Lakes Shrine Association over in Illinois. September the 26th. How about taking a bus trip with the Potentate and some of the Devan members? It's called Autumn in the South. We'll be traveling to Asheville, the Biltmore House, Charleston, South Carolina, Middleton Place Plantation, Savannah, and we'll land for a couple days at the Hilton in Myrtle Beach. Hope to get around to golf in there, and I hope you can join me. October. I don't want to pass this up. My wife will really be excited. October the 9th, we're going to go to the Indiana Roof. We're going to have the Potentate's Ball. We will have rooms available at the Hilton Indianapolis downtown. And we didn't have a ball last year, so we will be inviting past Potentate Mark Janung and his lady to help participate. We anticipate some Shriners from other temples in the Midwest. So come downtown and join us. November, participate in the Veterans Day Parade. Later, take a bus trip to Louisville with the Stone Belt Shrine Club. They go there every year. It's a good time. It's a 2-day event. As you can see, we have many events every month. We hope to see you at our next meeting, whether it be virtual or live. Stay healthy, protect your loved ones, and we hope to see you very, very soon. We are in conversation right now about opening the temple, but we have to get some more input. But watch the numbers. The numbers are coming down. So get ready for a great year at Murat and have fun in 2021. At this time, I would like to reintroduce our Captain of the Guard, J.P. Cazares, who's going to give you a report in lieu of Scott Roberts, who's out of town. J.P.?
Thank you, Lester, sir. Good morning, nobles. As Lester Sir Tim mentioned, Scott Roberts is out of town today on business, so I plan to cover his material today. So one of the things that is listed on the agenda, membership recruitment
and retention, the lifeblood of our fraternity. So what we want to do is take a little time today to kind of review some of the information. Obviously, we have first and foremost, congratulations to illustrious Sir Tim and his Lady Colleen's. We look forward to working with him and his goals this year. The members of the membership team this year, in addition to Scott Roberts and myself, we have the real boss, the big boss, Julie, in the office, and of course, John Sonano, who is a past imperial potentate, giving us advice on moving forward with our membership goals. So discover your best self as a Shriner. We heard earlier today, past potentate Tim Murphy talk about why he was a Shriner. We want to continue on with that type of theme. We're proud to be Shriners. We have a message to tell. In addition to fun and activities, the family atmosphere, we need to make sure we remember our hospitals and why we are Shriners. So we have a plan. Illustrious Sir Tim mentioned he has a plan of 500 new Shriners. The 4 R's as listed on the page: recruitment, retention, restoration, and relationships. Just as a side note here, one of the things that we can all do that's really easy is anytime we're at a function, a Masonic Lodge stated meeting, any type of fish fry fundraisers for Masonic Lodge, all we have to do is take a minute and talk to brothers. If you don't ask, then don't be surprised if nobody wants to be a Shriner. So just take a few minutes and ask. Communications, website, magazine, the newsletters. We're putting a lot of effort into these media platforms. Please be sure to reference those. If you have suggestions, please let us know. We have a great deal of marketing tools at our fingertips. Shriner Village. If you've not visited Shriner Village, I would encourage you to do so. There's a lot of good information out there. We have the Just One campaign that illustrious Sir Tim is also wanting to partner with. Just get one petition. If every member got one petition, we double our size. It's unbelievable how fast we could grow if we all just took a few minutes to work on that. And then, of course, BeShrinerNow.com is a great place for interested candidates to put their information in so that we can get them in the system to work with them. This year, our new Noble promotion is going to be 75. Last year it was 50. And then if they wanted a Fez, it's an additional fee on top of that. We got the new renovations, the remodeling work going on, the patio, the new Tunisian room, the Oasis. It's going to be a great place for us to share in our fellowship. A lot of the clubs throughout the state are using the downtime to do remodeling. It should be a great time when we can reopen and see all the additional facilities and all the improvements. We have the ceremonials coming up. We have the one-day, April 3rd, and we're currently working very hard to have a Grand Masters one-day class on November 6th. So please stay tuned on that. We're working through those details right now with the Grand Master. And most importantly, especially with all the things going on with COVID and all the things that people are struggling with, let's try to have fun while we can. So again, some information and tools at your fingertips. Illustrious Sir Tim, I will turn it back over to you.
Nobles, I've been asked to give you my vision for 2021. I just want you to know for the past several years, membership at Murat has declined. 1984, we had 24,000 members. Today in 2021, we have 4,600 members. Therefore, my vision is to see Murat grow and prosper for the next 5 years and beyond. I am aware that it's not only a Murat problem, but a social problem. I believe we can take the Just One program, as you see here on my column, that's being supported by Shriners International and Imperial Sir James R. Smith, and we can get just one per person and double the size of our fraternity. Through the Just One national program of gaining new members, we can use the national program to our benefit. The theme, getting new members. We can do it together. How are we planning on doing that? Family functions, going to the lodges. When we know a new Mason is coming into to Masonry, go out and talk to them. Don't be afraid to ask them. Attend your parades. You'd be surprised how many parades. My friends down in southern Indiana, they're parading and people are walking up and say, how do you become a Shriner? How do you do this? How can I get on one of those little cars or those little buggies? Communicate with them. Let's have more fun in 21. 21 is an important year. We've gone through a tough year in 2020. We're starting to come out of it. We'd like to invite you down to the Houston Imperial Station. We're going to have a great time down there, but we want Shriners to come down and visit us. Then in September, we'll be at the Great Lakes Shrine Association. If you would, work with us, work with me on our goal of getting 500 new Shriners this year. Set goals for yourself and your club. If you know a good man, ask him to join the Masonic Lodge. After he does, and becomes a Master Mason, ask him to become a Shriner. To achieve our goal and our vision, please remember the statement that we heard repeatedly during 2020. We are all in this together. It's up to us to make Murat stronger and a better place. In closing for the 2020-2021 session, I'd like to just share a story with you. One of our former leaders, and still a leader here at Murat, told me a story one time. As a young man, my grandfather and I were talking. This young Mason asked his grandfather, "Grandpa, why aren't you a Shriner? You're not even in lodge." "Dad and I are. Why aren't you?" The answer was, "Well, grandson, it's like this. I didn't think I was good enough." And the grandson said, "Well, why, Grandpa?" He said, "Nobody ever asked me. I didn't think I was good enough for the lodge." Please, please, do not let this happen to you. Do not let your family think they are not good enough for Masonry. If you know they are good men, ask them to become a Mason. Then a Shriner. We will all be glad that you did. The story was by a former past potentate at Murat and a past Grand Master of Masons in the state of Indiana. Thank you for your time today. Hope you didn't get out of your PJs, as Joel said. And please stay healthy, stay safe, so we can all get back together here at Murat in the very near future. At this time, I will turn it back over to Joel Hall.
Can you pause it for a second? Okay. Nobles, thanks for joining us. We've got a link to some information, and we're going to play illustrious Sir Tim's video here very shortly, so please stay on. But once that video is done, I will show you this link where we have the presentations and some other information stored, and that's there for you. That's for you to share with your clubs. So hold tight. We'll watch a quick video, and then I'll be right back.
Oh, turn this on.
Meeting started.
Is it up on the?
It's up on here.
Let's try it again. says it's on. Do you use Zoom a lot at work?
No, we're WebEx. Which is equally exclusive.
Just a minute, guys. It says that the audio is sharing, but it's obviously not.
Work in progress. Thanks for the video clip.
2021. I am asking, hi Nobles, I'm Tim Whitaker, the Murat Potentate for 2021. I am asking that you join Colleen and me for this year's Imperial Session in Houston, Texas, July the 4th through the 8th. To get even more excited about the event, watch this brief video about Houston's convention district, including a sky shot of our hotel.
With nearly 5 million area residents, the fourth largest city in America attracts visitors and transplants with a wonderful mix of world-class arts, booming business, pro sports, and award-winning cuisine. Welcome to Houston. Avenida Houston, now open.
Houston, like Indianapolis, has a centralized downtown convention district with our hotel within walking distance of the convention center. In addition to the conference sessions for your leadership team, members who join in have the opportunity to watch the opening ceremony, the International Motor Patrol Association competition, attend Imperial Sessions. There are other great opportunities, include a session where the Award of Merit will be presented, a donor relations report, and a marketing and communications presentation, concluding with a premiere of patient success stories and introduction of our patient ambassadors for the coming year. And yes, your lady may attend some of the events or attend a special ladies luncheon. Throughout the week, attendees can visit the Shriners Zone and Marketplace and gather together on Sunday for a church service. Other events include the fan favorite Imperial Parade and new this year a cornhole tournament for both men and ladies. The championship match will be played during the Imperial Representatives Evening on Wednesday, July the 7th, 2021. Murat will be headquartered out of the Hilton Americas, Houston, within 10 blocks of more than 250 restaurants and night spots and only 100 yards from the convention center. To make this Imperial the best yet and to encourage everyone to get involved, remember the slogan, Having Fun in 21. For more information on joining in Having Fun in 21, be on the lookout for information from the fraternal office over the coming weeks. We hope to see you and your lady in Houston.
All right, you've heard it from our illustrious sir, who you can see in the background behind me. We're looking forward to Houston in July. Wanted to pass along one more thing. In the chats, you can see the link for the presentations. We'll add the events list to that very shortly. And then we'll be putting more stuff on there as time goes on. And that link will also be accessible through our website. So if Andy gets it done here in the next couple of seconds, but give him a little bit of time, at muratshrine.com, we will have a 2021 leadership video link, and that will go to all the presentations as well as a directory of clubs and units. There's a little bit more of Paul Page's history on there, so just things for you to use and pass along to your clubs. So thanks again for hanging with us this morning. We appreciate your patience and looking forward to seeing you at your club meetings. Don't forget to get your divan involved and ask us for anything you need. That's it. We'll see you guys later. Thanks again.